Hey everybody, this is Arturo from Artina Studio with how to design your own Rooster Rumble Fight Club member tutorial. Here are some warm-up sketches I did using the app called Posebook, the male version, because I'm focusing on a male character in this case. This is an awesome exercise to get loose, start warming up your muscles, because drawing can be hard sometimes. You can have some crappy drawings in your hand sometimes or in your head, so you just gotta get them out of the way. And here I'm showing you how I use the reference to guide or influence my design for my original characters. I mean, I've been using this app from the beginning. Make sure to check it out. I highly recommend it. Okay. Now we're going to the sketch part of the design. I did a couple of rough sketches some time ago because I had the plan to do this particular character a while ago now. I saw the design of a similar type character, like a Maori character in the Street Fighter V game, and I don't know. I guess the moves are kind of cool, but the design in and of itself, I don't know. I didn't like it too much. Um, Looking at the reference sheet that I created, uh, these guys are a bit thicker than the character that Capcom designed, and I mean, Capcom is amazing at character design. They're a huge influence on me growing up and everything, but I felt that they could have taken a few more risks or played with the character's silhouette and body type a bit more. He could have been a bit more stocky. I mean, like I said, look at the reference images that I gathered up. They're going to guide my design. I mean, the guy is going to be, he's not fat. I mean, he's not, there's not a lot of, it's muscle. It's not well-toned muscle like Bruce Lee character or something like that. But it's, I mean, they're strong. This guy's strong. I mean, he's a warrior. And I'm playing with the whole all backs concept, just like in the reference, because I'm not a big rugby fan. I mean, my wife's British, and she likes it more than football, soccer. But she never watches it, so I don't really know. But I saw the highlights for the rugby final back in 2015, I think it was, and last year, yeah. And I was really impressed by these guys. I mean, they're amazing. They're really amazing. And I thought, all right, I'm gonna do a Maori type rooster, and I'm gonna mix and match those two references. I mean, he's obviously a Maori descendant, and that's why he uses the traditional Maori warrior garments, and he's also wearing his All Blacks jersey or rugby shirt. I played with the idea of giving him the stripes on his shirt, but nah, let's keep it all black, just like the team, just like the reference. Stick to what works. Still defining, giving the character the distinctive traits that I've used in my designs when working on these characters. There are key elements that make the rooster look like a rooster, and I'll go into that a bit later on. But the distinctive qualities I want: the wattles, the crest, and the tail. That's basically it, Then I'm as flexible as I want to be with these designs, especially the shape of the beak. I'll elaborate a bit more with an example in a bit. Looked up the word for rooster in Maori, and that's what came out. Tikau. I don't know how you say it, uh, but I'm playing around with how I can use it for this guy's name. I went with one of my original silhouettes. I felt it was more clear, like I'm going to show as well. The silhouette has to be readable from a distance. You have to tell where his right arm, left arm are, how his two legs are in relation to each other, where he's facing. The pose has to be readable. And here I'm also trying out a different expression, you know. Like I said, using the reference images. Here I'm using the expression from the picture at the bottom, you know, where those three guys are. The guy right in the center. And it's good. I mean, it's effective. But I wanted something else. I wanted... I want him, yeah, he's going to have his tongue out, but it's got to be more aggressive. He's just like he's blowing a raspberry, and that's not too intimidating or aggressive in this single image, you know. That's why he has to have his mouth open, tongue all the way out, you know. Still pretty loose with what I'm doing here. Like I said, the design part is the most important part if you think of it that way, because the rendering you can use different methods. You can use more of a cel-shaded look, more of a photorealistic look, depending on your technical ability. I'm not that great rendering, so I feel these designs are stronger in the sketch and design phase. Depending on how comfortable you are, or how much you like to push your designs. I mean, a lot of people like to work on 8, 9, 10 designs and just bust them out. But I don't work like that, you know. I don't know if it's good or not, but I have a feel of how I'm sketching, and if it feels right, I'll just stick with it. It might be my first or third iteration or iteration. The whole video is sped up. Like I said, this usually takes me, well, it took me to almost 3 hours to complete one, like the whole piece. I think I showed the whole process. The whole process is on the video. But here I'm trying out, looking at the reference of the single guy holding the stick with his tongue out, trying to imitate the shape of his eyes, you know, how his underlids are shaping the eye, giving it that aggressive look. Also playing with his eyebrows. I'm working on the sketch pretty similar to how I'd be doing it if I was doing it on my sketchbook. Working on different elements separately. I mean, working in Photoshop, you can just use the lasso tool, cut things out, paste them, mix and match. It's really cool, really easy. And as I keep going, I'm pushing the expression a bit more. Because it was effective, but I felt it was better if I exaggerated how big his mouth is open. I don't know. I apologize. I keep thinking of the beginning of Hooked on a Feeling. For some reason, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's just what comes to my head when I look at this pose. And like I said, it's a dance that they do, but to intimidate their opponent, or whoever it is that they're fighting or competing against. And apparently each family has their own dance, if I'm not mistaken. Or their own, not dance, but might be a dance. I don't know. Being a bit precious with with my sketch. Normally I wouldn't really erase if I'm working in my notebook, but with recording everything, it's you have to be more precious sometimes, you know, for presentation's sake. Here I'm giving him thicker arms. I want his arms to be a bit, you know, more imposing. And as you can see in the sketch, I'm going to play around with the whole concept of the tattoo, but with very geometric designs on his feathers. I mean, you can see the white rooster in the reference, those spotty bits. They could be tattoos. I mean, if you think about it, you can use what's in nature in your favor to guide your design. I mean, depending on how detailed you're going about it, this particular way of laying in the feathers is I created it like from the beginning, like from the first rooster. I wanted to go with that design, and I stuck with it throughout all the characters, really. As you'll see, you can make up your own rules when you're creating your own concept, your own story, your own characters. Establish your rules, stick with them, and it'll make everything more cohesive, you know? Whether it makes sense or not, I mean, you're the one that's deciding it. I mean, you're the judge. I mean, if you're working for a studio or for a client, then they're the boss. But in this case, you're the boss, and you can go in any direction you like. So here I'm pretty happy with the new arm. The tattoo pattern's going to change, but I'm very happy with how this pretty much came out. I'm gonna where his necklace is going to fit. Try to work on some of the detail up top. I love how his expression looks. I'm very happy with it. Wow, I don't know the sound he's making. Yeah. As I was working on the first few characters originally, like McCluck and Bubba, I wasn't really focused on their personality too much. I mean, obviously with McCluck, he looks hard-boiled. He looks like he has a temper. He looks or short-tempered, if you want to think of it that way. He looks a bit serious, angry, no-nonsense type of guy. But you're discovering that as you go. I mean, if you're working on a story or a short or whatever, you'll have opportunities to discover your character's personality. In this case, I'm going with aesthetics are guiding me. Not so much, I mean, is he outgoing? Is he, is he a Sagittarius or whatever? I don't know. Not really thinking about that right now. I'm letting the aesthetics. Obviously, all these characters are fighters, and some of them are more aggressive than others. This guy in particular is aggressive. Okay. Here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to check his silhouette. So I'm going to copy the image, and I'm going to select. I have to fill it out with black to check if his silhouette is reading well. You see? Select. Inverse the selection. Just cleaning it up a bit. And filling it out. I like how it looks and like the silhouette. I've forgotten to include the tail, so it's a good opportunity here. That's basically how it's going to look. Yeah, give it a check. Here's a sample of the other original characters with their silhouette. You can tell them apart, you can tell they're distinct, you can pretty much tell what they're doing in their pose. And this is an example of what you can do with making your own rules. Like I said, I focused with the profile of the characters, being that they're birds and everything, and how their beak works. You can work with different types of beaks, different types of crests, give them personality in a way, or distinction through those elements, And it seemed to work for me. I mean, you might not want to do that with your characters, but that's what I did with mine. Like I said, if I kept the crest, the wattles, and the tail, pretty much I could do whatever I wanted with their beaks and their profile, the proportion with their forehead. If it was a fat beak, if it was more of a pointy beak, if it was more top heavy, bottom heavy, I tried different things with their beaks. Here I mixed and matched all the different elements that I worked on as I sketched, and I'm still refining the sketch as I go. And now, pretty happy to where I've gotten. Then I'm going to start working on like a final line art version of the character. I recorded full screen to make it easier to see. Sometimes when you compress, I tried different angles, like he tore off his sleeves, but nah. I mean, in the reference, the guys have short sleeves, so no problem there. Just giving them a different collar. I didn't really want to get into trouble with any companies about the design of their shirt. It's basically just a black shirt with a black polo shirt, Obviously, the crest and the wattles have distinctive textures. They're the same texture, but just like with the feathers and everything else, you're consistent with it. You carry it out with all the other roosters and hens, because Attila the hen has wattles too. the characters that you saw on the poster not too long ago, the process I followed with those was I did them in pencil. I did a little thumbnail sketch of them. Once I was happy with what I got, I enlarged it in a Bristol piece of paper. I love that paper. And I did the final design in pencil and paper. Then I scanned that and colored it in Photoshop. But for this particular character, I wanted to be more practical, and I went straight in with digital because I wanted to be really clear so you could see how I was working the design. But to set up a camera and I don't know, it was too much of a hassle, really. And I'm happy with how this guy came out. I'm very happy. As you can see, his name is T Cow Cow, but T dot and Cow Cow is just two separate words. Because I was going to go with Tika or Cow or something like that. But no, I'm new. I figured, T Cow Cow, it's more musical, T Cow Cow. The distinctive feet, again, another design element that carries out with the rest of the characters. They all have these types of feet, some bigger than others. Poppycock has huge feet. But you look for those things, look for opportunities, look for those few elements that you can carry out throughout the rest of the characters. I mean, the way I go about when designing these guys, I like designing two at a time, or I like how that worked when I did Bubba and McCluck, because those are the first two characters I did, and how I used the contrast to help guide the design of each character, especially of Bubba, because he was the second one I did. So I kind of carried that with Kung Pao and Extra Spice, with Baby Chick and Attila the Hen. Like I said, one in regards to Baby Chick and Attila, one is one is younger, the other's older. One is skinny, the other one's not so much. Baby Chick's pose expressed more. Like she's on her tippy toes, and she's calling her out with her finger, and Attila's just laid back, more serious. And like I said, using that, it helps make your character more distinctive. It helps guide the design, and it helps you tell the characters apart. I mean, just like you saw in the silhouettes, no two silhouettes were very similar, and that's what I was going for. You have to think of these characters, especially if you're going to design a whole lot of characters, that there are the same type of character. Let's say there are all dogs or all even human beings, but you can think of them as letters in the alphabet, and how distinctive those letters are, or numbers from 1 to 9, or even 0, from 0 to 9, and how different those numbers are, how different 0 is to 1, and how different 2 is to 1 in their design, Obviously, they're all numbers, or even shapes, triangles, rectangles, circles. Obviously, they belong to a group. They're all shapes, but they're distinctive. Just like these characters, they're all roosters. They're all either chicks or bird or fowl. Birds or fowl. and but they have to be distinctive. You know, that's a key thing when you're working on these characters. I mean, if you're going to design your own character, that's what I did this for. If you're going to design your own fighting rooster from the country you're from, I'd love to see that. I mean, that'd be amazing to see your own interpretation of one of these characters. Like if you had a rooster in this fight, like they say, a dog in the fight, but a rooster in this fight, what would he look like? You know. Thinking about how, just thinking about trying to introduce some of the personality into the design as I worked on it. I mean, thinking about Poppycock and Massive Black, how Poppycock, he's a bit goofy, you know. That's why I went with, he's very lanky. He has a bit of a silly look in his face, and he looks sillier by who he's facing. He's facing this massive guy in a metal mask with spikes all over the place that looks scary as hell. And it makes Massive look more intimidating and Poppycock look more silly by contrast. I mean, you're thinking, what is this guy thinking, challenging this other guy? You know? Here I'm refining it a bit more. I brought up a screenshot of McCluck, because like I said, he was the guy that I first painted as well, so I'm trying to emulate or match my painting style, because I hadn't done one of these in a long time, because I've been working on the graphic novel, but now that that's finished, like I said, I wanted to get to one of these guys for a long time. I have 2 more characters that I want to work on. And the problem I had at the beginning when I first designed these characters is I was having loads of fun designing them. Once I started getting into the rhythm of designing and following the specific pattern, I started belting out like 25 designs or something like that. But then I got to a point when I was like, right, so what am I doing? Is it just like the Smurfs where it's just 99 of these characters and for no particular reason? So I said, well, maybe they can have a story. I tried the whole concept of doing the comic book, and that evolved into the graphic novel. And now that, like I said, now that that's finished, I can go back to designing as many characters as I want, really. I mean, like I said, I can go do a Peruvian rooster, or I don't know. I don't have a Russian rooster. I might do one of those. I have a few ideas for one of those. And even in a singular country, like if I'm going, like I said, roosters from all over the world come to the Rooster Rumble Fight Club in search for honor, glory, and legacy. Honor, glory, and power. I mean, that's what they're after. And if they're from all over the world, I mean, let's see it. I mean, let's see characters from all over the world. It's an awesome opportunity. It's a great exercise. I mean, it really gets my creative juices going, if you want to think of it that way. And like I said, even in a single country, you can have different types of fighters. I mean, like think of the U.S. You're gonna have somebody from the South, somebody from the North, some of the East Coast, West Coast, um, what have you. I mean, different. Maybe he's a goth type character. I don't know. That's just from one single country, you know. You're working in grayscale. I'm taking it to, I mean, a pretty finished level, but you can keep refining once you've added the color. I mean, you can refine these characters till the cows come home, but you have to get to a point where you're like, I'm happy with how it looks. I'm happy with the texture. I'm happy with the colors, everything. Like I said, you decide, and it has to match the other characters. I mean, you have that point of reference, all the other characters that you've done, you know. That's what I used to do when I was designing. I had them all in my final designs, and I put them out in my coffee table to help me see what I had done already and where I could go next, you know. It's always good to flip your character. You know, he was, 'cause that has to do with, I think, with the way you angle your strokes, depending on what hand you draw with or paint with. I'm left-handed, you know, so sometimes my drawings are a bit skewed in a particular angle. So it's good to flip your image. And I would recommend setting a shortcut, like a keystroke, to flip the image. You know, at the drop of a hat. I have it to set to F6. I just press that and flips the image in a matter of seconds. Taking advantage of that you're still working in grayscale and with the opacity of the brush, trying different angles, especially trying to give his belt or waist thingy a thatchy type look, you know, a thatchy texture. You could use photo textures if you want, but I haven't used photo textures for any of these characters, so there was no point in doing that. Once you have the color in, you can keep on sculpting with light. I mean, once you have your different values and everything, it's it's easier to keep working. If you're not too comfortable with color, just take your grayscale all the way to as finished as you can, you know, and don't worry about the color. You know, just leave it grayscale. Once you feel confident, once you feel like exploring, try it out. You know, make a new layer, set it to color, set it to overlay, set it to hard light. Try them out at different opacities. I used to do using curves. I used to do a new layer with curves, and I would change the different channels individually, like set it to red, and then warp that, give the highlights and the shadows two different tones, different hues. set that to overlay, color above that. That way all my colors were affected slightly by those colors underneath, you know. I did that here too. You'll see it eventually when I get to the color. Because I wanted to add a bit more interest, like a little bit more interest to the color. Another thing I did with other characters was I investigated some of the chicken cuisine that they have in that particular culture or country. Now here we're going to add in color. It's a new layer set to overlay. So right now it's pretty much paint by numbers, but then I'll start adding different colors to break up the monotony. And try to match my example with McCluck. I mean, he had different tones. When I was painting McCluck, I was going to go with really outrageous colors because you look at references from different roosters, they're nuts. They got green, brown, red, black, all sorts of colors mixed in. It looks great, but I wanted to go with something a bit more cartoony. I'm pretty sure it'd look amazing, like one of these roosters with all their natural colors. But like I said, I'm still going stylized. Here I'm trying a bit of a different color. I mean, I was going to go with the white rooster reference, but I was like, no, it's not working. So I'll change that even all the way to the end. I'm tweaking that. I mean, I went with the only rooster that's not. Is he the only one? No, because I have two green roosters. I have the Da Silva and Don Gallo, and Don Gallo I was influenced by Cornelius from Cornflakes. I mean, he's green. He's a rooster. You can tell he's a rooster. It's like, yeah, one of my roosters is going to be green too. And the Silva is obviously that olive green tone, olive green color, because of Brazilian skin texture. I mean, they're kind of olivey, if you ask me. Not all of them. It's also a great exercise to think about their superpowers, their special moves. Like I said, I was guided by different things depending on the character. Uh, Extra Spice obviously has different spices for moves. Paprika, oregano, red pepper, green pepper, and all that. And even Kung Pao, Bang Bang Jing, and fried rice, and all that. I mean, they're plates. I mean, it's all decisions. It's not the same for every character. I did that with Baby Chick as well, the whole bangers and smash and everything. Uh, Sloppy Joe slams and chicken fried uppercut. This guy I'd have to investigate a bit more to see what kind of moves he's going to use. Now you can see slightly different tones on his feathers. Slightly. ooga chaka, ooga, ooga. Sorry. I can't stop this feeling. Sorry. Eventually, just like in most stages, I will group the different layers I'm working on, like the base grayscale layer and all the other layers, and I'll duplicate that and I'll collapse the new group and start working opaquely. I'll get a new brush and that has a bit of a texture, a bit of a tooth to it, and I'll start working it in. Have I done that already? No, not yet. Using the burn tool in the grayscale to darken different parts of the character up. So I'm going to be using a rim light, just like in the other characters, to set it apart. I mean, I use that to set it, to make them pop from the background. I'm going to use that as well. I mean, this guy's not going to have a background, but it helps. Here I'm trying the curbs thing, like I said, giving the shadows and the highlights different colors. Okay, now you can see that I'm working on a single layer because I did that. I grouped it and I duplicated the layer so I can start working opaquely. Here I'm shaping the hand a bit better now that I have my colors, all the colors I'm going to use. Like I said, here I did that whole new window for the specific file. That way you can see it from afar. That way you don't really have to zoom in and zoom out. Sometimes you forget. You still zoom in and zoom out. I like the overlay, but it was drawing too much attention. I'm using that brush that has a bit of a texture to it. I also liked putting up McCluck's image to the side because it helped give the whole versus concept too. You know, I could test Tikau's design next to McCluck's. I mean, how they would look if they were facing each other. You know. You have to find the reference of the tattoo. There we go. That's the other one. Setting it to multiply, then I'm going to give it a bit of a color, like make it bluish. You can check on the side. I mean, it's going to start reading like tattoos, and not really going with the angular tattoos. It works well with the feathers. I mean, it reads well. So working with the design, I mean, figuring it out as I go. So yeah, this will probably work. This will probably work. To use some of that blue from the rooster in the image. It's really awesome colors the rooster has. Probably could have gone with the blue color feathers, but I don't think it would have read that well with the black shirt. But it might be an idea to try it out, you know, to make the guy even more distinctive from the other characters. Could be the first blue rooster that I have. It's not a bad idea. Flipping it. If you do it fast enough, you'll start dancing. Adding a bit more texture here and there by hand. Gives the belt more interest. I figured it wasn't really worth it to have that little bitty point there from the feather. You're moving faster and faster, reaching the last parts of the video. Like I said, the most important thing is your design. I mean, if you take it to that exploration sketch level and you get to a point where you're happy with it, that's going to work. I mean, if you want to show that, if you want to share your design with me on Twitter or whatever, you can just tweet me at Rooster Rumble FC, on Twitter. I'd love to see your designs. I mean, I'm excited to see different interpretations, different ideas. I mean, because I have my ideas. I mean, but they're nothing compared to the collective idea. I mean, I'd love to see how new designers, new artists take their own spin on these characters, or like I said, their own character. I'd love to do that with characters that I liked. I mean, I designed my own Ninja Turtle. His name was Sandro, like Sandro Botticelli, and he had what kind of weapons are those? Kama, I think they're called Kama. The stick with the blade at the top. Like I said, you take your own. You look at it, you're like, I could do that. I could try that. That's my attitude. For most things, you look at these things and you think, I think I can do that. That's the attitude to have. I think I can. I think I can. Just like the little engine that could. I believe that. and even just fan art of the characters, if you like the characters. I mean, I like to see your own take on McCluck or Baba or even the Talons, any of these characters. I'm thinking about working on different species, like a crow or something. Like I did the bald eagle, Sergeant Sam, Sergeant Sam, and I'm pretty happy with how he came out. It was pretty cool. Samuel Adams America, that's his name. Even with the talons, I mean, I'm sure there are other talons or birds of prey that I didn't do. That'd be awesome. Okay, now the real final tweaks is that I wanted to change his feather color. I tried a color layer and it was not coming out well. So I needed something a bit more drastic and set it to overlay, and I was like, oh! Give me an orangey look. So I mean, I can work with that. I mean, not at full opacity, but gives me something to work with. Because I mean, I wanted to match a bit more of the skin tone color of the reference. I mean, they're not so light skinned, like my original drawing. So it's like, yeah, change it to soft light. It's working better. Yep, playing it around. A bit more orange, a bit more yellow. I think we're gonna go with yellow. Yeah, like a mustardy, olivey yellow. Maybe not. Yeah, before and after, yeah. I like the after better. Group it, collapse it. And that's pretty much it. This guy is basically done. Let's write his name. T. Cow cow. T cow cow. T cow cow. Yeah. Pretty cool. This is the final design for the character. If you want to take a stab at designing one of these characters, you can share them with us at Rooster Rumble Fight Club on Facebook or Artina Studio Art on Facebook and Instagram. I also recommend, if you want to check out my graphic novel, Rooster Rumble Fight Club, you can find them here at Gumroad, Kindle, iTunes, iBook Store, or Comixology. I'd appreciate your support. Thanks. Bye-bye.